I've been saying for the longest time that Tank and Shakur is the mega fight. That's the biggest fight in boxing. That's the fight I want to see the most in the sport right now. But are they actually ducking each other? Because it doesn't seem like any fighter or either fighter is really eager to fight the other. Because you look at Shakur Stevenson, he's like, well, it's up to Tank. Tank's got to pick up the phone call, and ultimately, I get to be the B side. I respect Tank. He's the A side, which I understand. Maybe Shakur's just being honest. He knows that Tank is the one that has to pick up the phone. He's the real shot caller in the situation. But I feel like Tank, he wants to hear Shakur keep going at him so that he can make that fight happen. You look at Ryan Garcia, you could honestly see the recipe how to get a fight with Tank. You got to be really eager and continue to call his name out, keep mentioning him, make Tank angry. You got to annoy him by promoting yourself anywhere you can, talking about how you're going to beat Tank, that you want to fight Tank, that he's ducking you. You got to do that. That's what Ryan Garcia did, and that's how he got the Tank fight. And if Shakur really wants that Tank fight, he's going to have to go all out, with the trash talk, with the social media stuff. And I understand maybe that's like not how it should be. Maybe he should just, have Tank sign a contract, but it's not that easy to get Tank in the ring because Tank only wants to fight guys that, he kind of understands that he thinks he can beat. Like, he has to know that he could probably beat you, and I don't know what the case is. I'm sure Tank's not thinking in his brain, Shakur can mess with me or anything like that, but I feel like, everybody's talking about it. Why not make it happen? I guess people aren't talking about Tank and Shakur the same way or at the same level that they talked about Ryan and Tank, a few years back, but this fight is more intriguing because it's about styles. You look at Ryan Garcia, you see somebody who's very erect, very straight up, no diddy, but he didn't really have a good foundation. All he had was the left hook, and that's all Tank really had to worry about because Ryan spammed that shot all night. Now, Shakur for Tank is a more difficult puzzle to solve because you have a clash of two opposite styles. You got a guy who's a puncher, who's a counter puncher by nature, and when he lands on you, he's very explosive and whatnot. Then you got Shakur, a guy that's very much on the back foot and is very calculated when it comes to his defense and is one or two steps ahead of his opponent every time. And you got two guys that don't want to lose at the end of the day. Two lightweights that are naturally making 135. They're the best in the division. There's no reason why that fight shouldn't happen. But like I said, when it's the two top dogs in the division and the world wants them to fight, these are the most difficult fights to make because you got Shakur, who ultimately, he's dealing with the hand injuries and whatnot. I'm sure that's a big reason why he's not that eager to fight Tank. Like, he's saying, I want the Tank fight, but I don't know if he wants it that badly because I think he wants to figure out what's up with his hand. So he's going to fight the Zapatas of the world, maybe a Kid Austin, maybe it's Tevin Farmer or Lamont Roach, whatever the case may be. But, he's going to have to get the respect of a guy like Gervonta Davis, and he has to make sure that, both hands are 100%, or else, like, Tank's going to come at you. You understand that this guy walks people down. He may be small, he may be 5'5", but he's gonna walk you down, and he's not gonna stop until you fall. You got to go to sleep for Tank to get off of you, and unless you're Lamont Roach, and I'm not saying that Lamont Roach is better than Shakur, but like I said, styles make fights. Shakur is more on the back foot. You got a guy like Lamont Roach who's willing to sit in the pocket and then counter. Shakur, he has his own style, but I don't think he's going to be as active, or he's not going to throw as many punches as Lamont Roach did. You got to sit in the pocket and exchange a little bit to do what Lamont Roach did. I don't know if Shakur is willing to pay that price to, ensure that he can land those clean shots on Tank, that he can get the respect of Tank. Because, one, his hands, and the main thing is that it takes a lot of risk. Shakur, I haven't seen him take a lot of risk in more recent fights. Obviously stopped Josh Padley, but as of recent, you look at Lamont Roach, he was willing to do things in that ring against Tank that I'm not sure Shakur would be willing to do. Sitting in that pocket for so long, waiting on Tank, the judgment was good. He was able to eat some shots, to give some shots to Tank, and to land shots on Tank. So I don't know. I think styles make fights. It's still, the fight I want to see the most, at the end of the day. Right now, I think it's a 50-50 fight. That's a big reason why we all want to see it, right? But if I had to pick, I gotta lean towards Tank a little bit, just because that that punch resistance. I'm not sure what's going to happen if Shakur's hands aren't 100%. He can't get the respect of Tank. If Tank lands one shot that's big, you know, Tank doesn't have to be perfect the entire fight. He just needs one moment to catch Shakur, and Shakur has to be perfect throughout that 12-round duration and make sure he doesn't get touched clean by Tank even one time to the point where it would affect him and turn the tide of the entire fight. So we'll see what happens. Shakur and Tank, hopefully the fight does happen. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. But thank you guys for watching today's video. It's been your boy Matt with Naz Boxing, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.